Often I hear doctors talk about, cybersecurities experts talk about, homeland security, government employees talk about what keeps them up at night, preventing them from having dreams and comfortable, rejuvenating sleep. And with neuroscience, what keeps me up, including health and psychology and psychiatry called mental health, also known as medicine, has to do with a repetitive, insistent voice at 8 p.m. every night, and a skateboarder who mysteriously goes with the minutes and the seconds and the breaths of an echo to change awareness, attention, and then use concentration and focus to sell some methamphetamine crack to some man who doesn't know about these parts of body and brain in world and involving consciousness now. And nurses I have conversations with during my appointments for ankylosing spondylitis at the University of Washington Hospital, who stare at me blankly, similar to how mental health professionals and psychologists and psychiatrists and social workers and counselors and all of the staff work to subdue my energy and my voice, to quiet and silence me so my behavior matches their requirements. They learned in a classroom at a university college, taught by another provider who comes and updates them on new strategies and skills for their experiments. Humans, they observe now. Economics could very well be what stops the change a human wishes to see in the world. Now, considering artificial intelligence, algorithms, and an electrical energy device called a computer, a laptop, smartphone, etc. Now, and when I don't have to worry about my power energy on my phone not charging correctly in this green building, a new deal for all humans except the rich, except those servants of everyone else. When all of a sudden stuff doesn't charge and takes 4 hours instead of a normal hour or so, using small increments, kind of like sound on Capitol Hill in Seattle. Every so often a novelty when someone says, "Yeah, what a depressing earth." And then such a stimulation when someone says, "Oh, he's got drugs, she's got the weed. Let's go get freaky and let's go make noise." And rewards and repetitive punk and gangster thug mafia cartel graffiti written by anarchists for the masses to study now. Doctors and surgeons, all of those who are considered most intelligent on planet Earth and object now, continue to do research and continue to make information available for students and researchers and dissertation writers, and continue to offer stimulation and rewards, behavioral conditions within an observed pattern they call a system, with processes and procedures given to doctors in medical school with white coats, used in labs by chemists and biologists, figuring out vaccines for a coronavirus pandemic now. And where the economics are relevant has to do with those who are treating the described disorder. And what can be achieved within confines and restrictions and controls of funds to not only teach someone how to think and have a thought, but not be scared of some siren outside of a home, in a house, in a hotel with a room to rent an apartment building. In other words, cognition, and also metacognition. Not only thinking and having thought, but describing what those thoughts and those thinking have to do with a body and hands, arms, and a voice speaking now. Instead of a word to name a part of an emotion and a distance an emotion has in a brain. Speaking as if a siren out in Capitol Hill in Seattle as another example could be described in my home now as if I could see the vehicle with the flashing lights and the loud noise and not have to look and not have to check when my recording ends now. A whole body and a whole brain with anatomy and physiology, tenacity and grit, motivation and inspiration, and not only a mind and emotion and social requirements, and colors and rainbows, and explanations about therapy and modification of behavior from observations and experiments with animals, doing instead what psychological cognition provides young children and young humans, people, folks, until they can really achieve advanced consciousness using quantum mathematics and differential equations and algebra and geometry and food and energy to be strong and ready for climate change and powerful and safe and secure when dominance comes for a victim and time and battery power count down to zero with the heat and beauty increasing and then disappearing when there's no food to steal, no windows to break, no materials to replace those buildings they burned to show everyone else they were king, queen, princess, and feminist. And their theory and philosophy were mathematically intelligent and brilliant and genius. The economics could be and probably are unfortunately preventing a better assistance and option available for those who have PTSD and other difficult disorders who could benefit from learning about their brain and body instead of only receiving an appointment and more confusion and misdirection to make someone more hungry for stimulation and more ready for a reward. Explaining awareness and attention, concentration and focus, to stop with the unnecessary extra information those technology workers at Google and Microsoft and Facebook and Twitter and other rich and famous businesses have a more difficult conception of living in their mansions and bedrooms and living rooms and dining rooms and vacation properties. Now, health costs money not only for prescription drugs and emergency room visits, but ethically, to not do what's been done here now, locking a human in a room in a house instead of respecting a tenant in a building with apartments who has no other choices and options available other than what they provide in a city dedicated to socialism with communism as a strategy and tactic for defeating climate change and allowing those rich and famous, intelligent, brilliant geniuses to use their 3D printers to make water better, air cleaner, so they can drive their Porsches and gas-guzzling airplanes to faraway locations and islands to escape a system with processes and procedures they made and they control. And they change whenever they want. Within an already determined logic and enigma mathematics. Einstein would have said, was spookiness at a distance. And why? He said he should have been a watchmaker. The end.